Yo, what is happening, guys, and welcome back to the Let's Talk Fighting Challenge. You can tell by title on the thumbnail today, we will be talking about KSI's next boxing opponent, and that is none other than Tommy Fury. Yes, that is right. KSI versus Tommy Fury is supposed to be happening. You know, obviously, Tommy Fury's last fight was against Jake Paul, and that was the first time Jake Paul fought a pro boxer, and Tommy Fury came up victorious, showed that there was levels to the game, the experience was completely different, and he beat Jake. And you know, everybody was, especially KSI, was literally saying, "Oh, Jake Paul couldn't beat a pro boxer. I could beat Tommy Fury." All this, Tommy Fury, Jake Paul, chirping back and forth on Twitter constantly. Then it gets to the Misfits event, and all of a sudden, Tommy Fury's there, and his dad. And I remember sitting with my friends. We watched this live, and I said to them as soon as I seen Tommy Fury, they were like, "What the fuck's Tommy Fury doing there?" And I said, "I already know what he's doing there. I know because when KSI fought FaZe Temper, who was in the building? Joe Fournier. Joe Fournier was in the building in the front row watching KSI's fight because KSI said after this, I'm going to call someone out. He knew he wanted to call out Joe, so he wanted Joe to be there. And he said, after I beat Joe Fournier, I'm going to be calling out Tommy Fury. So, of course, what would be better than to have Tommy Fury in the building for when KSI defeats Joe Fournier and says, right, I want to up the levels. I want to go for the man that beat Jake Paul. Because Jake Paul versus KSI is the fight that we've been trying to make for so long and constantly keeps falling through because of negotiations. KSI's team doesn't want to work with Jake's team doesn't want to work with KSI's. They both want to be the A side. They both just keep fucking up the negotiations, and we ain't getting anytime soon. So KSI decided, you know what? Jake's being awkward. Fuck the Jake Paul fight. I'm going to go for the guy that beat Jake Paul, that handed him his first L, and that's what KSI decided to do. So, like I said, he brought Tommy to the Misfits event. He beat Joe Fournier in a very controversial way, but we're not going to get into that because if you want my opinions on that, I did a completely different video uh, on the channel, which it should be up before this, about the whole situation with KSI and Joe Fournier and my personal thoughts on it. So, I ain't going to touch on that. But you know, KSI obviously after that, he decided, you want to let me call out Tommy Fury. Tommy Fury got in the ring. They faced off. They said, right, this is the fight to make. Tommy Fury said, you're an easy fight. KSI said, I'm going to do what Jake Paul couldn't. And now that's the fight that we're going to be making. So now we got to get into the thinking of this fight. Tommy Fury, 8-0. Pro record, 9-0. Either way, Tommy Fury's undefeated. He has 8-9, whatever the hell wins. One of them is against Jake Paul, which was, by a lot of people, ranked higher than KSI, ranked as the best YouTube boxer, and Tommy Fury made Jake Paul look easy for the most part. Jake Paul made the fight competitive at some points with the power, but when it came to the boxing, being a boxing technician and boxing skill, Tommy Fury breezed by for the most part. And you know, everybody's saying, oh, Jake Paul was better than KSI. Now KSI, he beat a pro boxer. If you want to compare it the same, you can. I don't personally believe beating Joe Fournier is the same as beating Tommy Fury, in my personal opinion. But he beat a pro boxer nonetheless. Take that how you want it. And now he wants Tommy Fury. And you know, KSI has an unorthodox style. When Jake Paul came in, Tommy Fury knew, okay, Jake Paul relies on that right hand. He relies on that power. He isn't really going to do much. He might throw a couple short combos, but he usually just he's new in boxing. He's going to make a lot of mistakes. And Tommy Fury said, when he makes those mistakes, I'm going to make him pay. KSI, you can't really prepare for KSI's stance. You have to prepare for his game plan. Because his stance, you can't prepare for KSI to be orthodox and say, right, he's going to try and throw the jab then that right hand. Because he ain't. He probably ain't. He ain't southpaw, so he ain't going to throw the jab in the left hand. KSI might throw the right hand, he might throw the jab, he might throw a left hook, he might throw a haymaker, he might throw a right uppercut, he might just jump in and fucking clap your ears together with both his hands. Who knows, because KSI is that unorthodox. It's impossible to fucking tell. But the one thing KSI does, which he hasn't been made to pay for yet, but he will definitely have to patch up and fix before he steps in the ring with Tommy Fury, is, and I talked about this leading up to the Joe Fournier fight, which was he runs into punches, he comes forward, he's done it against everybody, he has literally faced Swarms and Pineda, did not make him pay for it, but when he fought Temper caught him with a couple. They did not face him, but he caught him with a couple. Joe Fournier, he came forward. Joe Fournier didn't really do too much, but he hit him a couple times because KSI came forward. KSI likes to stay on his toes, stays active, back and forth, and that's great. Stay active, keep moving, and that uses up a lot of energy, but if you have the cardio for it, happy days. But regardless of that, when he comes in with his hands down and he jumps into it, which means he really extends. So if you throw a punch as he's coming in, he's not going to be able to really dodge it and get out of the way because he's already extended into jumping into it. And Tommy Fury is going to land the shots that the likes of Temper couldn't land, that the likes of Fournier couldn't land, and even the shots they could land, Tommy Fury's going to land with more intent, better power, better accuracy. It ain't going to be the same. And I think KSI needs to acknowledge that Tommy Fury is not a YouTube boxer. You know, Joe Fournier, Tommy Fury, not the same. I thought Joe Fournier fight was going to be a bit more competitive. KSI made it easy work, and that was it. When Jake Paul fought Tommy Fury, I don't want to say I overlooked Tommy Fury, but I just didn't think that he was going to be as good as he was because of his previous fights. Now, I still don't think Tommy Fury looked fucking polished against Jake Paul. I still think he made a lot of mistakes, but he's still very early in his career. He may have been boxing since he was 9, but in his pro career, he's still quite early. He's still obviously making mistakes. He's still only like 8, 9 and 0. But for the most part, he showed that although he might make some of these mistakes, although he might not be a high level, he's not fighting a world champion in KSI. He wasn't fighting a world champion in Jake Paul. He's fighting two YouTube boxers who picked up the sport no more than 5-6 years ago, who he has many, many years on, who he has height on, who he has reach on, because Tommy Fury has freakishly fucking long arms, who he probably has power on. Tommy Fury has everything in his arsenal to level out and basically propel him to beat all these guys because he has the experience. He's fought, I don't want to say better competition, but he's fought more competition, and in his amateurs he definitely fought better competition here and there. So I mean, at the end of the day, Tommy is basically put into this ring, and it is Tommy's fight to lose. KSI has to go and get that victory. Tommy just has to not lose, in my opinion. And what I will say, I think KSI might give Tommy problems that Jake couldn't because he's so unorthodox. But I also think KSI is going to put himself in more positions to take damage and get problems caused towards him by Tommy than Jake Paul did, because I think KSI's style helps him in the form of he's going to get to the places he wants to and get the shots off he wants to, but he's also going to put himself in positions that he shouldn't put him in and take shots that he's willing to take, but you shouldn't be willing to take. I said this before, you should have the mindset of, if they land, I will be able to take it, but I'm not going to let them land in the first place because it is a game of hit and don't get hit. That's why Mayweather is one of the greatest, if you want to say the greatest of all time, because he hits and doesn't get hit. That's the name of the game. But I think KSI's style is going to cause Tommy problems that Jake maybe couldn't. But I also think KSI's style is going to cause him problems and let Tommy actually get advantages that he didn't maybe have against Jake. But it's going to be an interesting fight nonetheless. I can't wait for it. And I'm also kind of scared because in my mind right now, I cannot see KSI beating Tommy Fury. But you know what? At the end of the day, KSI has proven us wrong so many fucking times. Who knows? This is a crazy universe we live in. Who knows at this point? But either way, that's my take on KSI versus Tommy Fury. I'll do more videos leading up to it. Probably watch sparring footage, compare their styles a little bit more, get into a little bit more detail. But for now, that is the video. KSI versus Tommy Fury. That is the next fight that's going to be happening. Will KSI be able to do what Jake Paul couldn't and take out Tommy Fury? Or will Tommy Fury once again show that experience and pro boxing is different to these YouTube boxers? That's what we'll find out. But either way, let me know in the comments down below. What do you think of this matchup? What do you think might happen? Are you excited for it? And let me know all that. As always, think positive, test negative. Have an amazing day. Stay safe. And I'll see you in the next one. So, peace.